I took a break for, it was around 10 days where it's completely no exercise, like a little bit of walking and stuff, and then slowly build back into it. And that's going to vary based on where you're at. Like if you're quite far gone, if you've been doing it for a while, then you may need a couple weeks completely off, like just some maybe light stretching, light yoga, some walking, whatever. But some people are finding just a couple days, they can get by with just 2 days of that. But some people, I've heard, even need longer. They'll need a month. They'll need, like, if they've been kind of fighting this for years and years and years, and not knowing what the problem was, and just like exercising, trying to lose this weight. They might have done a bit of damage to their adrenals, so it'll take a little longer. But it just depends where you're at.
Are you total vegan?
I am, yeah.
What about eating some fish?
Fish? Yeah, the thing with fish is that it's a couple things. One, it's acid forming, so it will promote inflammation. Another concern with fish is obviously the water that it comes from. Like salmon, for example. Well, there's farm salmon that have less exposure to polluted water, but then the issue is what they get through their diet naturally, and they don't have as much omega-3 stuff. The farm ones, so the wild ones, of course, they basically swim around the whole Pacific Rim throughout their life, and the odds of them living some of their life in polluted water is pretty much 100%. So of course, then that gets to them. So then that's a bit of a concern too. And also, you can just get everything you need from the plants. And something interesting I found out is that, yes, fish do and salmon do have omega-3 in them, but only if they eat algae. If they eat fish pellets and they're in a farm, they don't. So that's clear then that the fish is a median for the omega-3. So you can skip the fish and go straight into algae if you like, and then keep the fish. So they're more of a carrier. And it's the same as plants grown in soil. If your plant is grown in a soil that doesn't have any nutrients, it can't give you any nutrients. So you have to go back to the source, like where is the fish getting it from, or where are the animals getting it from, even where are the plants getting it from. So looking at it that way. So yeah, it's just unnecessary. Yeah.
Out of curiosity, I noticed in your book you don't mention anything about oatmeal, and I'm big on doing oatmeal every morning, and I add all kinds of stuff: wheat germ, flax seeds, bananas, walnuts, almond milk, and water.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if you feel that oatmeal has some, like a bad card in a sense.
Well, oatmeal, the reason I don't talk about it too much in the book is, well, gluten for one. A lot of oats, there are some gluten-free oats you can get, but gluten is something a lot of people have sensitivities to, and it affects their digestive system. It is a bit acidic as well. Not bad if you don't have an issue digesting them. So if you do like them, you do well with them, I think they're good. Okay. Sprouted ones will be even better, easier to digest. But yeah, it's certainly not a bad thing.
I got a question about soy protein. Now, when I started to work out a long time ago, I was taking whey protein, I was taking muscle milk, to gain some muscle. Then some of the people I was training with said I should take soy protein, so I started taking that, and I started to up it a little bit more, 2 scoops. And then I had a friend of mine who was saying that men aren't supposed to intake soy protein too much because of the estrogen. Now, my question is, the product that you have, if you wanted to intake more protein, just to gain a little bit more muscle, how do you go about it without taking the soy protein and without taking any animal products?
Yeah, well, all Vega products are soy-free. So, and I don't use soy in my recipes. Not that I'm anti-soy, but there's just so much of it out there. And I know people who develop sensitivities to it because they've just had too much of it. And also it depends how processed it is. So you start off with the least processed, like edamame beans, for example. So organic, non-GMO edamame beans. I think having those a couple times a week is perfectly fine. Tempeh, I think, is kind of the next thing down. And then tofu, a little more processed. And you get down to soy protein isolate, and it's highly processed. So wouldn't really suggest too much of that because it is quite acid forming. And the people I have worked with who have been trying to gain weight find that some more starchy carbs help. So root vegetables, any kind of sweet potatoes or yams, whatever, oatmeal as well can work well for that. Just like rice and avocado, stuff like that works well. So it's not just about the protein. Vega Sport Performance Protein is a good one in that it is alkaline forming. It does have 20 grams of protein per serving. So, doing that with starchy carbs works well for gaining weight. And then you want to have it repeatedly, like throughout the day. You want to graze. And I think whether you want to gain weight or not, I think grazing throughout the day is a good thing, as opposed to like eating big meals. Yep.
Is your product line raw?
It's not, no, not all the ingredients are raw. So, by volume, around 70% of it is raw. The pea protein and rice protein cannot be considered raw because the friction gets around 130 when it's milled. So it's not cooked, but technically not raw. I don't eat completely raw, of course. I eat, if I had to guess, I'd say 75, 80%. Most people I know who do eat completely raw are okay with drinking Vega, even though, like I say, there's a pea protein, rice protein, and the maca as well, that's heated through the friction. So it just depends where you're at with that, but I like to make it really clear that it is not technically raw. And really, the powders out there, some will say raw. I think it's, I guess it just depends on what you consider raw, because really they're not. So, but like I say, I think that's fine. I think I just like to be really clear about that. Yeah.
Have you tried any of the cracker or crisp recipes in the dehydrator at all, or do they kind of ferment before they? Has anyone tried them?
Yeah, you can. There's some recipes in my book for some crackers and crisps and things, and you can make those in the dehydrator instead of baking them low temperature in an oven, and you can do that raw. I didn't want to make my book seem, I guess, too out there. I wanted mainstream people to not feel as though they had to buy a juicer, or food processor, or a dehydrator, or any kind of special equipment. I didn't want people to think it was like this weird diet or something.
Right.
Yeah, you can do that for sure.
Okay. I always worry it's going to ferment before it cooks, kind of thing, or dehydrates. Another question I'm wondering about is, you're talking about GMO and organic and all that. I noticed it's really hard to find organic pea protein, a little easier with the rice protein. Is that because it's just too expensive to farm, or?
It's just, as far as it's certification too. So an important distinction between organic is, like, this is actually a decision we had to make in the beginning. Do we want to do certified organic for all the ingredients, or do we want to do, we want to buy from small local farms who grow without herbicides and pesticides and will then get big enough to afford certification if we buy from them. So we actually chose to do that to help out some smaller farmers get certification because it's very expensive to certify. So I've been to farmers markets where I've seen people go up to the farmer and say, is this certified organic? And he'll say, no, I'm sorry, but I grew 30 miles from here, no herbicides, no pesticides. The person's like, oh, sorry, I only buy certified organic. For all we know, that person could then go to Walmart and buy certified organic from China. Right? And so
it's sustainable though. It's not GMO or anything like that. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So the thing is that our goal was to create more certified organic farms by buying from them, and now there are. And now we have less risk of running out of crop as well, because if there's a flood in someone's field, then we've got this other one here. So it's good for us. So it ensures we have supply, even if there's droughts or floods or whatever, and it ensures that no monopoly is formed. And this was back in 2004 when Walmart first started carrying certified organic, and the fear was that they would actually get so big they would dictate the certification. And that's obviously not a good thing. So buying from a lot of these small farmers prevents that from happening. So, and it just makes it more sustainable. So nothing has actually changed in the product now, but most of it is certified organic. It's just paperwork that's changed, really. Like, it's still grown the same, but it's just, people want to see that certification. So that could be a process sometimes. But yeah, the pea protein is one of those things that as the demand goes up, it will get certification because people will buy enough of it and will be able to afford it. So that is coming. I would say within a year, probably under a year.
Well, it's great to know that you're buying from what me is just as good as.
Yeah, and it's sort of a more
Yeah, better,
sustainable
right,
thing, I
because
think.
it's creating future.
Right, because yeah, some of the certified organic stuff, it's, you know, like who certifies it and is it really trustworthy and stuff. So there's definitely, there were some concerns initially for that, so that's yeah, that's the reason why.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of on a journey right now to go completely vegan. The two things I'm having issues giving up, I guess, growing up in South Florida is seafood and cheese. So I was just wondering if you grew up completely vegan, or how did you let that go? Because it's very difficult. I know it's more
Yeah.
willpower, but I'm just curious how to wean.
Yeah,
What
well-
worked for you, is basically.
Well, definitely, I pretty much a standard Canadian diet. I grew up in Vancouver, so I guess it's similar to standard American diet, but up until around 15. And yeah, for me, I made a mistake in that I tried to do too quickly, and I had trouble. So then I found it's actually better to do it in small steps, so just kind of like one meal or one snack a day and just build into it slowly. And you'll find that your palate actually starts to change. And then you won't want to eat cheese, and you won't want to eat the seafood just because it won't be appealing anymore to what your palate likes. And that's a great feeling, because then you just eat whatever you want. It's just that what you want to eat is good food. So you can be patient with that. I think, you know, cheese is the hardest one, and there is a reason for that. It does actually have a chemical reaction in the brain that's very similar to some drugs. It is actually a chemical reaction that happens, and you do go through withdrawal, like you know, the definition of withdrawal when you do stop eating it. So you don't feel as though it's just willpower. You know, it is something that's kind of difficult to do. So yeah, just start doing it slow. You know, slowly cut back, and then like I say, add some of those new foods, and think about adding new things as opposed to cutting out the old things. So you know, like buckwheat, amaranth, and lentil legumes, hemp, all these different types of foods. Start introducing those, and just, as they say, crowd out the old ones, and there won't be, you know, there won't be room anymore for them.
Thank you.
What about the cheese